Good Thursday morning, TSC family. Here's our area of concern that's going to be moving across the country right here. Hurricane hunters were investigating this yesterday. They put the data that they gathered from this, and they put it in the new model guidance last night. So that data is in the models now. Severe weather in the forefront of this? Yeah, that's possible, y'all. Could be some severe weather in the forefront of all this. Not sure that's really going to happen, honestly, though. All right, let's get going here. Storm Prediction Center, okay, for tomorrow, as you can see. See, is this tomorrow? Here, hold on here now. Nope, hold on here. Let me start this all over again. This is for today. A little bit of thunderstorm activity off the tip of Florida here. For tomorrow, then we start up with a little bit of thunderstorm activity, just with thunderstorm activity there in Texas, as you can see. Then the following day, which is actually Saturday into Sunday, Saturday 7 a.m. through Sunday 7 a.m., there's a chance of some thunderstorm activity here in Texas and Louisiana, as you can see. I looked at the RFS model, okay, for this, and there's a little bit of updrafts in this area here. Now, bear in mind, they're forecasting what? Freezing rain, sleet, snow, all this. This is probably more than likely maybe sleet that's coming down here, and hail like situation. That's what that may be. You're seeing right there in Texas, as you can see there. I don't think it's updrafts as far as tornadic activity. I just don't foresee that happening. The atmosphere there is pretty cold, and I just don't foresee you're going to have thunderstorm activity of strong magnitude. Now, we'll watch this real closely here, okay? This will be coming in on Friday, late Friday evening. I just don't see that this is going to be a major thing here. Here's the HR model for that. And I'm not quite further enough out there in time to gather all this, but you can see there is a updrafts right there starting there in Texas on the HR model. So I'll say there's a small smidgen chance of severe weather here, but to me the atmosphere is going to be pretty stable with cold air present. I just don't see a lot of major problems here for any kind of like tornadic activity. All right, I'm going to go forward here now. What I'm going to show you here is some different modeling, okay? This is the SREFS ensembles. I like using this. This is a pretty good graphic here for short range modeling, and it kind of gathers all the information together up in one from all the modeling out there, basically, and it's basically a winter model. Here's what this is: the SREF ensembles, and you can see where they got the snow line here at. Not much snow down there in Texas, as you can see on it. The freezing rain line now, that's a different story. Where is it at? Well, it's down there in the south, and going through Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and man, oh man, this area right in here. Now, this is forecasting 1 inch of freezing rain here in this graphic. 1 inch. Here's another modeling from the same group of models here. This is the ARW. Okay. And you can see what it's good. Now, it's pumping down a lot more freezing rain. Now, my folks are in Indiana. It looks like on the European and the GFS model, it's not giving you much freezing rain here. I'm telling you right now, and I looked at this model here real closely here, and look and see what the ingredients of it's made up of here. I fear right now that, for instance, Southern Indiana, as an example, you guys are going to get the possibility of like 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of freezing rain first. Okay? You see it's 3/4 inch freezing rain there in Evansville. And then on top of that, okay, on top of that, you're going to get 6, 12 inches of snow in some areas here. Y'all, this could be really a bad outcome there for Indiana with that kind of thing. If you get a dousing of freezing rain, like a half an inch of freezing rain, then you get 6 inches more of snow on top of it. Guys, that's going to be brutal on trees. I mean, that would be absolutely brutal on trees. The weight of that, magnitude of the weight of that right there would be. So that's one thing that I've not heard too much emphasis on, is how much freezing rain my areas get first, and then a dousing of snow on top of it, just adding to the weight contour of for those trees. I fear we're going to see so much tree damage in some places. It's going to be crazy. Now here is another form of this, and I think it only goes out to 48 hours out. No, it goes out to 60 hours out. There's a snow contour there, as you can see. Now again, it's not far enough out there to get the east side over there. Let's see where does this give us freezing rain? It does not. I didn't think it did. So here is the NAM model now too. Let me put this up. You can see that NAM model, what it's doing. Now, boy, it's putting down a dousing of snow right in that band right through there. And then to the east over here, you can see that snow falling up here, getting up there in upstate New York and Pennsylvania area. Now, here is the freezing rain totals from it. Again, now it's not completely out there. It's not far enough out there in time to see everything that's going to happen, say, over in the Northeast. Y'all want to hear something even crazier? I'm getting ready to show you here in a few minutes. Now, man, look at the freezing rain it's putting down here now. Kentucky, Tennessee. 2 inches of freezing rain, guys. Again, it's not got it all gathered up over here. So you guys in Virginia and North Carolina, South Carolina, that's not an accurate thing, what you're seeing right there. It'd be more accurate back here in Texas now. Okay. One thing I'm going to show you in a few minutes, though, is there's a second and a third storm. And the storm is coming in about February 2nd, 3rd, 4th timeline. It's really far south. And I mean very far south. Now, that's getting out there too far out to have a lot of confidence in it, okay? But I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. And it's like, and I'm talking about snow in the central Florida, maybe. What, Tim? Are you crazy? No, I'm not. That's what the models are giving us right now. Here is the European model. Now, let's look at it. This is the mid-update. You can see, man, look at Indiana here. Just getting a foot of snow in southern Indiana. A foot of snow in southern parts of Ohio. Northern Kentucky, over a foot. Wow. Look up there in the Northeast as well. And then back there in Arkansas, northern parts of Arkansas, you're getting nearly a foot of snow. Here's a freezing rain. Now, I really fear that some of these places, like Arkansas here, you are going to get a half an inch of freezing rain, okay? And then on top of it, get snow. Y'all, that's kind of the worst case scenario. That's kind of the worst case scenario, isn't it? It really is. And I fear that's what we're going to be seeing in places. Is places going to get a quarter to half an inch of freezing rain, and then maybe a foot of snow on top of it. Again, the weight of that would be unbelievable on trees. They can't stand it. Those trees would be tipping over, guys, from the weight of the magnitude of the weight of most people don't realize the weight of water, what it is. It is unbelievable. Then you add 20, 25, 30 mile per hour wind gust on top of this. Brutal. Brutal. Power lines are going to be down everywhere where this freezing rain is right here. I mean, the European model is putting down 2.21 inches of freezing rain in this area. 2.21. I mean, y'all, that is unbelievable. Right there in Arkansas. Getting up over in Tennessee. Northern parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. To get at 1.5 inches of freezing rain in that area, let's just be conservative here. Let's wipe out that 2.21 and say 1.5 inches. Lord God, guys, that there's no trees that can take it. It just can't take it. Back there in Dallas, Fort Worth, you're looking at 1/2 inch of freezing rain. How bad is that? That's crippling, y'all. That's crippling. That is absolutely going to cripple the area there, and it's going to stay cold for some time afterwards. This whole sector here, Power losses everywhere, everywhere. Power losses everywhere. Are you prepared to lose your power? That is the main concern, is the power losses. Knowing how much cold air is filtering in behind this. That's the part that's really concerning me a lot. Now here is that the full run version here. Now the full run version is showing 2.57, so it's calming down a little bit here on the mid update. As you see, 2.21 is what the current update shows versus 2.57 in that sector. So it's dropped down. It's dropped a quarter of an inch of freezing rain, less there than what it was before. The problem is that it became more snow driven. Here's the snowfall totals. It says 19 on the mid. What was it last night? 20 inches. So the models are calming down just a little bit for this aggressive snow and ice. But y'all, it's not hardly anything. It really isn't. It really is not. Now watch this. I'm gonna go all the way out. Look at the snow down in the Gulf of America down here. Are y'all ready for this? I mean, look at the snow across Florida here. Florida, are we going to get snow in Tampa Bay? This is the European. Here's the GFS. Look at the snow, how deep far south it is. Look at that snow band. Look at your snow in Texas. All the way through the whole state. Are we going to get that? Is that going to happen? I don't know, y'all. That's getting out there where the confidence level is very low. But with that said, when you have the GFS and European model both showing the same stuff, kind of a deep south snowstorm here again, you know what? I'm going to say it. I think the writing is on the wall here that we're going to get that southern at secondary snowstorm. And when does it come into play? Just about the last day of January, January 31st, January 30 time. About the January 30 timeline. It's like here's what shows up on the GFS model. January 30th is when it happens. Now, that's 8 days out. That's not like it's 15 days out. That's only 8 days out from now. So, yeah, I think there's a good possibility that we're going to see a second snowstorm here. And I talked about it last night briefly. And gosh, dogs, I do believe we're going to see that secondary snowstorm come into play. There it is, January 31st here on the European model as well. And you can see snow in the Gulf. Snow in the Gulf. Crazy? Gosh, dogs, I don't know how crazy it's going to get, but we could get snow, say, in Tampa Bay, Ocala area. Yeah, Gainesville. Boy, it looks like it might. Looks like it might. If you see snow here, you see snow here, you got to imagine there's going to be snowflakes falling across Florida here. Now, why doesn't it show over Florida? You think because of the ground here is maybe causing a little bit more heating, and therefore it's not snowing? Well, there's water here that's warm. Water's warm over here. I think that's probably what it is. It's just not collecting on the ground there. I don't know why it's not showing flurries across Florida here. It's really interesting to see. I have to do a little bit more work to get into that and see what the cause of that is. But if there's snow here and there's snow over here, there's a good chance there's snow all the way across Florida here. Now we're not going to worry about that right now. But wow, just look what the European models are putting down, guys. I mean, it just don't want to quit, quite frankly. There's another clipper. Look at that other clipper coming in. 3 snowstorms almost between now and, say, February 5th, y'all. 3. This big one right here. Then there's another one here coming, and then another one following it. I mean, unbelievable amount of snow we're going to get here. Y'all remember my forecast that I did right before winter started, say around November? How many of y'all were on that broadcast with me? What did I show you the long-range modeling showed? What did it show? Showed below average temperatures here across the Ohio Valley and above average precipitation. You remember that? You remember that broadcast, some of you all that was on there? And I said what? Look out Ohio Valley for a big time snowstorm. I said there's going to be a big time snowstorm as a likelihood during the winter months here in the Ohio Valley. Well, sure enough, that long range model was correct. And that's all you got to look at. You just look at the overall concept of those long range models, and they showed below average temperatures here and above average precipitation. Well, that combination spells out major winter, and that's what we're going to get right here. I'm sure you're getting alerts on your phones right now, and for God's sake, y'all, you must. There is no ambulance orders. You must be in a home with heat of some magnitude. Now, for God's sakes, do not, and I repeat, do not bring your grill into your house to heat your home. That's an absolute no-no. Cannot do that. Okay? I don't know what form of heat you're going to have to find. But if you can't find one, for God's sakes, drain your pipes from water in your home so you don't have any water damage and cracking of pipes. That is what happened to Texas. They did not realize how bad it was going to be and how long duration of without any electricity. Y'all, this could be, and I'm not saying this is that same ice storm that hit Texas about 4 or 5 years ago, but the magnitude of this is going to be about the same, you guys. It truly is. When you look at this freezing rain right here, y'all better take this very serious, because anywhere in that pink, the likelihood of losing power is probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen. And if you lose your power and you have no means of heat, look at I'm going to show you here right now. I'm going to show you the temperature forecast after the storm goes through. This is at 7 p.m. This is real temperature now. Teens across this whole region right here. Central region. Let's go over here. Now, you're in the 40s. This is at 7 p.m. at night. Now, how cold does it get tonight at night? There's 7 a.m. in the morning. You look right here where the highest loss of power is in that sector right there. And look at the actual temperature, what it's going to be on Wednesday at 7 a.m. If you have no power and you have 1 degree temperature there, say in Kentucky, what is going to happen, y'all? This is really devastating stuff. You go over to the east, no power up here in the northeast, and you got minus 17 degrees below zero. What in the hell is going to happen to your homes if you leave those water pipes on with filled water? Now look what happens on Thursday morning. It gets worse, y'all. This isn't wind chill. This is real temperature. Indiana, minus 4 degrees below zero in Evansville, Indiana. Minus 4 degrees. With a wind chill, are you ready for this? A wind chill of minus 7. Y'all, you got to take every precaution you can to protect your residents. Evansville, Indiana, southern parts of Indiana, northern part of Kentucky and Ohio here. Listen to me. There's not a lot of talk about getting some ice here. I'm telling you right now, looking at some of the models that I showed you there a few minutes ago, you could get a quarter of an inch of freezing rain, and that all then turns over to snow on top of it. If you get that quarter of an inch of freezing rain, and then as much as a foot of snow on top of it, the weight of that, for instance, on your roof, oh my gosh, oh wow, is that dangerous just on your roof? But the amount of trees and power lines that's going to come down from that, it could be something we've never seen for a long, long time. I have seen that now. I lived in Indiana. I went through the blizzard of 78. I lived through it. I seen what that was like. Wow. I can't. Those of you that never seen the blizzard of 78, there was also a blizzard, I think, in 79, and in 81, I think there was too. Y'all, those were just really bad. But the blizzard of 78 was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. What that did from that set right in through here all the way to the northeast up here was unbelievable. And we may be looking at a blizzard conditions here before it's all said and done in this area right here. I suspect we're going to get blizzard conditions in this area here before it's all said and done. Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Missouri, Southern Illinois, you might get blizzard conditions before it's all said and done here. I suspect that may be happening. Do not be driving in this stuff. You got to get at your point by early Friday morning. Wherever you're going to hunker down at, Friday morning you need to be there, y'all. It's that simple. Friday morning you got to get there. If you have a neighbor that has a fireplace, you don't have a fireplace, and you only have electric heat, drain your water, your pipes from your house, and get over to that neighbor. Then if they'll take you in, y'all, that's what you got to do. Neighbors should be helping neighbors right now. You got to do that. Neighbors got to be helping neighbors. So help each other right now. That's the only way you're going to get through this, guys. I'm not here to, beg and plead, but I'm just telling you what's going to happen here. I lived up here. I know what is about to happen. Some of y'all, the young people, have never seen this before. You never went through a major ice storm. Look at the temperature forecast on Saturday. This is real temperature, y'all. This is not wind chill. Look at this. Look at Saturday. Let's assume that you still don't have electricity here. Look at Saturday at 7 p.m. What in the heck is Sunday morning going to look like? There's Sunday morning. Sub-zero. Look at your wind chill. Look at your wind chill down here in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and down over in Texas. Look at your wind chill. What if you still do not have electricity here? And there's going to be people, trust me here, there's going to be folks that are not going to have electricity in this timeline. This is February 1st. This is only 7 days after the storm comes in. There is no way these linemen can get electricity stored in these areas this large. And some of this area is going to be crippled. Absolutely crippled. Just look at the wind chill here in front of you. This is realistic. This is real stuff here, y'all. This is life-threatening. I fear there's going to be some people that will die from cold, from this hypothermia. I fear that is coming. I wouldn't be surprised we won't get a half a dozen to a dozen people that die from hypothermia with before it's all said and done. I think that is a realistic possibility here right now at this time. So, if you don't have a generator, okay, and you have no other form of heat, you got to leave your home. It's that simple, because it is going to get freezing temperatures inside your house. This is February 2nd. Let's see if it improves. Do we get any relief here at all? Look at February 2nd. Look what we got. We got almost a full week afterwards of sub-zero temperatures. Can you survive that in your home with what you got right now? I don't know. Kim said her son-in-law, her son-in-law is a lineman. He said to prepare for 3 weeks without power. I think that's probably really good advice. That's coming from a lineman that knows what's going to happen here too. 3 weeks, in some cases, still won't be long enough for many. Still won't be long enough for many. 3 weeks. Can you imagine that? 3 weeks with no power. Here's Tuesday on February 3rd. You're still in the teens here. You're in the single digit in Ohio at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Bad stuff? Yeah, it really is. This is 7 a.m. on February the 4th. Down here in Florida. 29 degrees, 29, 31 degrees. Gonna be cold. All right. Y'all, I don't know what else I can give you here right now. I'll cover again for those that just joining in. I covered the cold. It's gonna be cold as heck for 7 days after this storm comes through, y'all. There's no doubt about that. Okay, there is absolutely no doubt of the cold air that's coming in on the backside of this. It's gonna be frigid. Here is the snow again on the European model, and I'll get out of here. I'll do the European and the GFS model both with snow and freezing rain. Here's the snow totals. Now, here's another total I can give you here. This is the 10-to-1 ratio snow here. Let me back this out to get the realistic, because there's another. As you can see, there's a second and third snowstorm moving through the country here. But let's get rid of that one right there. Let's just hold on to this one right here. Let's go to 120 hours out. So that gives us only through 5 days. Okay, there it is, through Monday. Now this is very realistic for the 5-day forecast here. Okay, so there's the European model for the snow. Here's the east side for the snow. You can see what it looks like here. A foot of snow for so many people, it's crazy here. That entire line right there is some people are gonna get a foot of snow in that line, somewhere in that line. From all the way to the west, all the way to the east side of the snowstorm, people are gonna get nearly a foot of snow in that main line right there. Okay, here is the Kuchera modeling for this. Are you ready for this? Watch this. This is the high side possibility. Look what you got. Can this really happen? It depends on how cold and how crystallized the snow is. You see the snow there going through Missouri and Illinois right there. Wow, Kansas, Arkansas. Is Kayla's mom and dad gonna get 16 inches of snow like it's shown there? It might be possible. It might be possible. All right, here's a freezing rain. Y'all, it's 2.5 inches of freezing rain in that darker red area. 2.5 inches. Back there in Dallas-Fort Worth, 1/2 inch of freezing rain, y'all. 1/2 inch. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's power loss problems. That's crippling stuff. You know, I was watching Weather Channel a while ago, and their thing only goes up to I think it's 3/4 of an inch of freezing rain. Anything above that, they're saying this catastrophic stuff. Well, can you imagine 2.5 inches? What that's going to be like? Even let's just cut it in half, and say that there's going to be 1.5 inches of freezing rain is the most that everybody's going to get here. 1.5 inches, y'all. That's unthinkable stuff. Right here, there's over 2 inches of freezing rain in that area of North Carolina and Virginia area. Over 2 inches. Again, let's cut it in half. Let's just say there's only going to be 1.5 inches, the most. Crippling, absolutely crippling stuff. Okay, this is the GFS model to show you between the two. GFS model starting to update the 12Z run here right now. Okay, let's go 5 days out here. There we go. Look what this shows, 2.97. Now, this is getting into the Atlanta area. Man, I tell you what, y'all in Atlanta, you do not want to get this. That would absolutely cripple Atlanta and devastate the power grid there in Atlanta area. Absolutely catastrophic stuff here showing up here on the GFS model. It did not show that now on the European model to that degree, did it? It did not. So there is a major difference here. You can see the freezing rain here. It's not nearly as much as what up here in Arkansas, is it? It's not. There is a big difference in these in the models even right now as we speak. Here's the snow. Boy, is it putting down snow. East. Look at the snow. Over 1.5 feet of snow in Kentucky, West Virginia. Getting up there in Pennsylvania, a foot. Over a foot. Lots of snow. And there is that freezing rain line is going to be, man, you see, this is what's crazy, guys, is some of this freezing rain right on that line right there, right on this line, there's going to be a mixture of freezing rain and then snow coming down on top of it. I really haven't showed sleet. Let's look at the sleet totals here on both models. Wow, wow. It's the first time I looked at it. Honestly, that's showing 7 inches of sleet. That's not going to happen. So what does that mean? Look back here. Look at this here. 3.3 inches of sleet in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 3.3. I doubt that's going to happen. Is it going to be freezing rain, or is that something going to be snow? This is the GFS. Let's see what the European models do with this thing. Not nearly as much sleet on the European model. Not even close to being the same. I'm going to say, we're going to look at the Canadian model here too. I got to now. After seeing that. Here's the East. Not nearly as much sleet. So GFS model is putting down a ton of sleet. Okay, let's look at the Canadian model for sleet. Now it's putting down a ton of sleet. You see the sleet forecast from it. How much snow is it putting down? Not nearly as much snow. It's showing a lot more sleet. Lots of snow up in the Northeast. So it's showing a lot of sleet. What does the freezing rain look like for it now? Man, that's putting down. That's crazy right there. That is crazy. Again, it's putting down about an inch of freezing rain there in the Atlanta area. And then you go to the South Central region. That's putting down a ton of freezing rain there across Mississippi and Louisiana. Kentucky is the same. And then back there in Texas. This is saying 3.69 inches of freezing rain in that darker red. That would be unheard of, y'all. That is absolutely absurdly crazy. Here is the national blend of models. And I'm going to get out of here. There's the snow. There's the snow for the east. You see just a swath of a foot of snow plus. Right there. A foot of snow or plus right in that area right there. And then here is, now they don't have freezing rain. What they put up is, what they use here is ice accumulation. And this is where they're saying it's going to be freezing rain and sleet. And you see the area here. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, especially Atlanta, Georgia area, all of Nashville, or Tennessee, Kentucky. Here's this problem in hand now. Look up here in Indiana, where I was talking about, you might get that quarter of an inch of freezing rain, then all that foot of snow coming down on top of it. Boy, that will be, the weight of that on the weight bearing of that on trees is going to be unbelievable. Y'all send pictures in when you get this stuff. Don't be afraid to send a picture. James, let's start let's not do it yet. We'll have to figure out how we can put pictures, so that we can repost them with their names on it and stuff. That we'll have to do that. Okay, man. But look at the freezing rain possibilities here in sleet on the national blend of models here. If you're anywhere in that pink, purple, you got a chance to get a coating and dusting of freezing rain, sleet, and possibly a snow. It is, Diane. It is a waiting game yet. It really is. We're not even in the early seconds of the first quarter yet, and so we need those short range models to completely update and get out there. I think by tonight, here's the RFS model. I don't think I showed that one. There's a snow line for it. There's the East Coast hit for it. Again, it's not fully updated for enough out yet. It only takes us through Sunday at 7 p.m. Some of this happens before then. Probably I should go through the timeline for a minute. I'll use the European model for that timeline. All right, what I'm going to put up is freezing rain as a timeline. So you guys have a good idea with this. I think that's important to see. Let me back this up. Now, we know that everything's going to start further west, right? Let me back this up. So we know, I'll give you the timeline for your states. Now, it could be off an hour or two, y'all. Okay, even 6 hours. It could be off 6 hours. Now, what time is it at this point in time right here? All right, this is at 3 p.m. on Friday. We're just starting to see a little bit of freezing rain there in Oklahoma area. Now, that freezing rain is expanding. Now we're getting it there in Arkansas. What time is that? This is at 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. That's 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Early morning hours of Saturday. That freezing rain is really picking up there in Arkansas and Oklahoma. That's 7 a.m. in the morning, Saturday morning. Like I said before, you need to be where you're at by Friday. By Friday, late Friday afternoon, y'all, you got to be in place where you want to be. Okay, so this is Saturday at 7 a.m. Now we're moving that freezing rain is where it's moving into, it's already through Arkansas, it's through the northern parts of Louisiana. Now it's moving in there into Mississippi. This is at 11 a.m. in the morning. Let me go to the East Coast here now. Let's watch it. Now we're starting moving into Tennessee at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Let's stop it right there. Now we're getting that freezing rain coming into North Carolina and South Carolina about 9 p.m. Saturday evening. It's in there into Virginia, coming into Virginia about 11 p.m. on Saturday evening. And then y'all, I mean, you just see what it's looking like. I mean, man, look at Mississippi. Y'all, just look at Mississippi. There it is in central Mississippi, about 6 o'clock in the morning there. And look at that freezing rain still going southward there. Still spreading southward there out of Louisiana and Mississippi at 7 a.m. in the morning, Sunday morning. Look at Sunday morning. There's 9 a.m. That freezing rain is still coming down across northern parts of Louisiana and Mississippi there. Look at that. Then it's feeding up in the northeast on Sunday morning in the early morning hours of Monday morning. And y'all, that's the best timeline I have right now for this. And that's the best I can give you right now for timeline. I hope that helps some too for you guys. I'm telling y'all, get to where you want to be by Friday afternoon. That's a timeline that you got to be in a safe place. A safe place is a facility that has heat. Okay, it has heat. If your home has no means of having heat after you lose your electricity, it's not a safe place to be. Especially your elderly. Y'all, if you got family or you got a neighbor that's elderly, make sure they're taken care of. Make sure they're going to be okay. Those are going to be the ones who will be the most vulnerable. Is going to be the elderly out there. They're the ones more stubborn that don't want to leave. Okay, I know that. My mom and dad was about as stubborn as it got as they aged. Am I the same way? I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not. But I know I got stubborn ways myself. And even during hurricanes, I really didn't want to leave my home here. But I knew that I had to. Otherwise, I was going to completely upset my kids. And I never want my kids to get upset with me. That's something I never do. So help each other out. Help your neighbors out, especially the elderly. You got to check on them, y'all. They're the most vulnerable when it comes to this. They're the most stubborn people. Take mom and dad to your house. Okay? Take grandma and grandpa. Get them out of there. Okay? If they do not have a means of heating their home. It's very simple. And prep their home. Help them by prepping their home for them. Okay? This is important stuff. I can't stress it enough how important it is to preparation of your home before you lock the door and walk out. It is a very important thing to do, you guys. It's very important. So, y'all, be careful. Preparation is the utmost concern, and get her done. Okay, Katie wants to see the Texas timeline again. Okay, let me zoom into Texas for you, Katie. I'll zoom in there. States. Texas. Okay, let's start it off here again. Okay, so Texas, you're pretty free, say at 6 p.m. on Friday. 6 p.m., not much to worry about here in Texas on Friday at 6 p.m. But here's where it all starts. In the overnight hours of Friday night, that's when all hell breaks loose. And then Saturday morning, it gets worse. And you see the freezing rain right there. There's what looks like at 11 p.m. on Saturday. What's happening? The freezing rain is going south. There in Texas, isn't it? There's what looks like at 5 a.m. in the morning, Sunday morning. That freezing rain is still moving southward through Texas. So there's your timeline there for y'all in Texas. Let's see. Is there anything else here I can give you guys? I can't think what else I can give you. I'm home today. All I'm going to do is just do some things around the house here. Watch the models. The GFS model was updating. Let's see if it's updated yet. Let's see where how many hours out. We're only out to 36. No, hold on. How many hours are we out? We're out to 54 hours out. Man, this is coming in hot, y'all. Okay, we got over an inch and a half of freezing rain there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Already coming in on the GFS model. What did it show the previous run? 1.72. So it's about the same. It's about the same. Is it coming in south or north a little bit here? What's it doing here? There it is on the previous run. This is the newest run right here. It's coming in further south a little bit. The GFS model has moved a little bit south. Looks like with the freezing rain. Yeah, the freezing rain is moving. Here's what I'll do. After this, can we do the GFS on Texas? Well, of course. Their timeline is going to be the same. There's 4 p.m. on Friday. It's at by 4 p.m. everything gets all hell breaks loose there as far as freezing rain. And then there's what it looks like it's Saturday at 7 o'clock in the morning. You already got an inch of freezing rain in that area right there. You got an inch of freezing rain that's already fell in that area in the overnight hours. And then after 7 a.m. on Saturday, you can see what happens. There's what it looks like at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Look at it. And then it after 1 p.m., this down here fills in on Saturday. There's your timeline, y'all. There's your timeline. All right, guys. Again, when the GFS model here gets completely updated, I'll post those results to you guys so you guys can see what it looks like completely. Here's the snow totals here with that update that's coming in so far. It's way up here, as you can see. So far, that's what it looks like. Let's go ahead through. Still 16 inches of snow. Kayla, your granny and your mom and dad are going to get 16 inches of snow, Kayla. 16 inches. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, y'all. Have a good evening. God bless y'all. And I will, actually, good morning. Yes, it is 10 a.m. Y'all have a good morning. And let's come back at, let's come back about 3 p.m. No, it'll be 2 p.m. Let's come back at 2 p.m. this afternoon, and we'll reevaluate the GFS and European model because both of those will be updated then. Okay, we'll come back at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'd be 1 p.m. Central. Okay, and we'll look at those again. 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, and we'll look at this GFS model when it completely updates, and we'll look at the European model. Okay. All right, y'all. Have a good morning. We'll see you this afternoon. Have a good day, everyone.